I've got 5 decks for you that never leave the ladder. My goal is to save you some time, some tokens, some sanity, something in between to make your life easier so you know on any given season, I can run to one of these decks and have a much better chance of getting to infinite no matter the season we're in. If this helps, hit that like and subscribe down below. Let's go take a look. So first off, I want to talk about Classic Patriot. Now, let me also preface by saying it's not the 12 card list you see right here. Flex this as you feel appropriate. If you have a Super Skrull and you want to throw in Super Skrull, go for it. If you want to play Mr. Sinister instead of Shocker, go for it. It's about understanding the archetype itself. If you see a meta that's not really high on a load of Enchantress or a load of Rogue or a load of Killmonger, this is a great time to play Patriot because it's consistent. It shows a very good game plan with just enough flexibility and protection to keep it relevant no matter what season we're in. They can change the costs and values and make Cosmo a 4/6 instead of a 3/3 or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. This deck is still an incredibly smooth deck and you can customize it to your liking. Having those vanilla cards on the board, waiting for those non-abilities to have a reason to be there, like all the squirrels, this is something that is regularly competitive. It's one of the best decks if you're low in collection level to climb very quickly into infinite with, because of the consistency. And one of the best parts is that it's really clear to see if you have a winning line from your opening hand. If you're sitting on Patriot, Blue Marvel, Ultron, you could justify that as a snap condition. It has great ceiling potential, great flexibility, and as long as the meta is permitting it, which you'll know very quickly if it is or it isn't, Patriot is a regular go-to deck to make your climb to infinite easier. But if you're seeing a meta that allows you to play into a load of cards on the board, a lot of tall cards on the board, a lot of very high interactive cards, maybe it's just time for straight up Serra control. And the meta will be very clearly defining that. If people are trying to do cheeky things to make the big play happen because that's the win condition, this is the moment for that deck. So whether you've got loads of 2-drops thrown in like Scarlet Witch for location control or Surge for a little bit of cheat, throw in Merlin for just a little bit of everything, to be honest. And again, we're talking about this when we had the changes to all of the tech cards, and it's still relevant. We have Enchantress here at 4/8 when she's previously a 4/6. Shadow King is currently a 3/3. He was previously a 3/2. Shang-Chi is a 4/2. You get the idea. There's so many counters in this deck alone that if the meta is presenting you with very tasty options that are really easy to just say, oh, this card ruins you, yeah, let me play the deck that's focused around that card. Then that's when you bring Serra Tech out. But if that's not your cup of tea, that's fine. You want to do something a little bit more unpredictable, but yet still has a solid amount of consistency. One of my favorite decks in the game is still a Thanos deck. And if you have access to Thanos, you have access to a variety of different variants on archetype. And still to the day, Thanos control is one of the more respected versions of a Thanos deck, because you can see destroy versions out there, you can see zoo versions out there, but any deck that's also able to comfortably run Cosmo, Rogue, and Shang-Chi in there with location control via the Reality Stone and Professor X, and lock out move in abilities with Claw and Professor X, there's so much you can do in this type of archetype. And that lack of consistency for your opponent is something to lean into as well, because they don't know what those stones drew as you're slowly obtaining all of these cards. So customize this build depending on the meta that you're seeing. Flex out that Cosmo maybe for a Mobius, or take out the Psylocke for a different ramp entity like Jennifer Kale. You have some flexibility with this type of deck depending on what you're going up against. If you need a load of points, throw in a Mockingbird into here, or do a whole nother variation if you really like. But I think that in general, Thanos control is still one of the more respected variations of, instead of needing to go Sarah control and have all of the toys, let's get an increased chance to draw the toys because you're using the stones to your advantage. And yet, when all else fails, make one choice, and that's all you really need. Do you see a lot of Shang-Chi? Yes or no? The answer is no. Just play Shuri. Shuri, Sauron, there's nightmare variations that are still fantastic. And it's just about make big card, do big thing. Hide it behind armor, maybe throw in a Cosmo in here if you don't want to play Shang-Chi yourself, and just blow a bunch of power onto the board. 1/5s, 1/7s, 5/14s, no downsides, double up to 28. There's some massive power that can come from this deck. And as long as you're in a meta that allows you to play it, it's still one of the most consistent decks to the day, no matter what rank you're in. And you don't have to have all the newest cards. Most of these cards are very early access. Take out Galactus First Steps, throw in Giganto, throw in any other big card, Red Hulk, eat Gore, it doesn't matter. The point is, play big card, get big win. Never sleep on the power of a Shuri deck in Marvel Snap. Lastly, I bring you to Old Faithful, Discard. This is a comfort deck. This is a deck that has variation in it. There's so much you can do with a discard deck, and it's not just make big point, do big thing. It's not just only play Dracula and hope. The Khonshu variations have won the Golden Gauntlet, and it's not running the most meta of cards. You can play around a Mobius, you can play around a Stardust, you can play around a Shang-Chi. There's crazy things that can happen with a discard deck. So no matter what meta you're in, out of all of the decks that I recommended today as great decks to bring you to infinite, no matter the meta we're in, I'm yet to see a time that discard was not successful. There have been moments where those other decks have come and gone. Discard has always been there. Since global launch, Discard is one of the most reliable and consistent archetypes in Marvel Snap. And it's one that every Marvel Snap player should have knowledge of and have in their back pocket, whether they're going up against it because so many people play it, or they're piloting it themselves. This is the deck that never dies. It just discards. Now, before you go into ladder with any of these decks, if you're less familiar with them, do a small sprint, head over to Conquest, try maybe a silver ticket, maybe a gold ticket, really get a one-on-one with a live person to get some extra experience with these decks before you say, this is what will get me there every season, because they are relatively simple to operate. They are always consistent, and they're worth your time to take that extra 2 seconds, really learn them before you say, now is when I climb with them. So Patriot, Sarah, Thanos, Shuri, discard. Run any of those and you're gonna have a great season. Bookmark this, save this, share this, like this, whatever you wish to. Just know that this video will always be here for you to help make the beginning of every season just that little bit easier. And if any of them worked, no matter the season, let me know down in the comments below. I greatly appreciate the support as always. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming, and I'll see you next time.